Today, I'm so fortunate to be speaking with Farah. She's a lighting designer who spent the last 13 years not just illuminating spaces, but illuminating the truth within all of us. After losing her mum to cancer at 18, she began unpacking all the ancestral patterns and grief and the identity, and just blending, really deep personal work with her creative background. And now she helps women with their own inner blueprints. She helps them break free from emotional scripts that they never actually chose. She's bubbly, wise, and she's here to light the path home from the inside out. Welcome, Farah.
Thank you.
So, why choose lighting as a career?
Good question. Um, I studied industrial design back in India, and while I was studying industrial design, some of my initial passion or curiosity with how natural light falls into materials and structures on plants and the light and the shadow that creates always fascinated me. And through my work in industrial design back in India, in my courses and projects, I was always creating lamps, working with light, all of that. And then my final project in my design school was working 6 months with G lighting to kind of create products and stuff there.
Mm.
And I think that kind of triggered the further deeper interest in who I want to work with something like that. And then did a little bit of work in India and did a little bit of playing around with retail and lighting and stuff. And I think I realized that industrial design had given me some background, but I think I was fascinated with not just the product light itself, but
Mm.
creating experiences and spaces where light is the element itself. And how do you create home, work, schools, different environments, and
Yeah.
light is the element that we paint with. And I think that's how I came to Australia in 2009 to
Yeah.
study my master's in lighting.
Wow. I do a bit of photography, just amateur photography, and I know that the light is so incredibly important, when you're doing that. So I know that you've done all this personal development work, and does it relate to that at all? Does it? Can you somehow take the concepts that you learned with lighting and the concepts that you learned with personal development? Do they? Is there somewhere where there's sort of a crossover?
Um, I feel like I see my life in three different chunks. There was the industrial design, and where I studied 4.5 years of design, and design, society, people, problem solving, how the design solutions are created. Then looking at lighting, light spaces, experiences, all of that. And then when I look at helping people, coaching and mentoring and supporting people create their own path, the core of all of that is the person or the client or the problem that they might have. And everything is connected to that person. If you design a space, it is who's going to use that space, what is the experience they want to create,
Yeah.
where is the light, what is the work they're doing, and what are we lighting? And
Wow.
the emotions, the functionality, the light, the color, all of that.
Yeah.
When you design a product, aeroplane, phone, everything. It's who is using it. How will they think about it? How will they use it? What is intuitive? What is their style? What is their language? What is the design situation? Also, what culture and what background, what language,
Yeah.
what styling. So all of that. And growing up in India with my parents in education, I grew up around a lot of older people in conversations at that level where I was listening to different conversations, understanding people's challenges. And I think somewhere my parents were mentors for all their students through the years, and I witnessed that growing up with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of those skills, those questioning abilities, seeing the detail, understanding what people need,
Mm.
kind of gave me that little bit of back end skills. And I think through understanding and coaching and mentoring, and coaching kind of different tools. There is the neuro-linguistic programming where there is the mind and the emotions and how that comes together and how conscious and unconscious mind works.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's also of how the words we use, the language we speak, um, but what does that really mean? And what we say and what we don't say, and what is hidden behind the words, and the meaning that we think that means.
Yeah.
And that is my map of the world. But you coming from a different upbringing and different culture, completely assess that or understand it in a different way because of those nuances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of us have our different
Wow.
levels of seeing things from the filters we grew up with, of how we came to be, and our own experiences in our journey. And I bring that. And I feel like that also comes with the mentoring and coaching, where every person has their own unique journey and their path
Yeah.
and the challenges and the lessons that have come to be for them. And there might be tools and structure and techniques, but each of them have to be adjusted to a nuance for
Mm.
the person, their needs, their challenges, so they can break through something that might be holding them back
Yeah.
to create the pathway to where they want to go in the
Mm.
future and the possibilities they want to create that they did not know was possible before.
Wow. Wow. So tell me, growing up, okay, what were kind of those pressures? You know, the pressures, the expectations, those unsaid things, you know, the unspoken rules. Did you have those when you were growing up?
Um, I feel like being a single child, I think it was also of everything kind of came down to you of expectations of doing well in studies, trying to kind of figure out what future looked like, but also being the good girl. I think I had the good girl syndrome at some point as well of trying to be um, nice and good and always listening to my parents and being the best version that I could be
Mm.
potentially, but also through the challenges they might have been going through emotionally, trying to be there for my mother, there for my dad.
Mm.
Um, Also trying to be, I was into creative stuff as well at that point of time, so doing some of those things. But also, I think I feel like I was watching people and experiencing, and I'm like, what do I say? And what do I do?
Yeah.
And I feel like now I can look back, and at that point I did not have that of in environments where something I say or somebody says and somebody gets triggered, anger or some lash out. And
Mm.
I think I learned early on to not rock the boat, not create confrontation, not
Okay.
cause
Yeah.
conflict. Um, and I think now some version of people would call it people pleaser.
Mm. Mm.
Um, and I feel like I kind of learned like I did not want the stronger, aggressive, angrier sides of different people in my
Yeah.
life to be like, okay, that's what I need to be to not rock that boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is who I need to be in the situation. And I think that was all subconscious, and only now can I unpack and see of where that was coming from and
Wow. Yeah.
who that 5-year-old, 3-year-old girl was and what she was trying to do.
Mm. Mm.
But also trying to because I also came from a culture where my parents come from different backgrounds, where my dad's Muslim and mom was Hindu. So there's
Okay.
also that cultural nuance of different religions, different culture, different expectations, different philosophical beliefs, and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of pressure around different things of different people we talked to. I had to portray a different
Wow.
image
Okay.
or a different version of me, the one more aligned to Muslim or
Yeah.
one more aligned to Hindu. And I think
Wow.
I'm in cross between the two. And that's why I found spiritual was my balance to create
Yeah.
and integrate both and still show up as me.
Wow. So you've worn several masks from very young. Wow. Okay. Okay. You know, if you don't mind, I know you lost your mum, and I assume you lost your mum at 18. And how did that kind of change everything for you?
Um, I think she was in some ways my anchor or the strongest connection I had in my life.
Mm,
and I was really close to her. And I think losing her kind of made me anchorless and lost and confused. And I think despite of that, she had set me up on the design journey.
mm, mm.
And it's because of her that I'd gone to the design school and I was there.
Yeah.
And she passed in the middle of that. But then
Oh, wow.
I took, it took me a while to find my path,
Yeah.
but it was also off. And I think there were a few years of cluelessness and unsure and not having the emotional support and regulation.
Mm,
And I think I just felt lost for a very long time. And I don't think I shared that relationship with my dad at that point of time. And we both were grieving at different levels
mm,
and challenges that we were dealing with that we're suffering on our own, really,
mm.
in our own
Yeah.
ways.
Wow.
Um, but I think without her, we felt like the connection was there's a gap in it, sort of thing,
Yeah.
because she was that conduit, that channel
Wow.
of communication and that connection.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
but I think she was also somebody who had brought me up to be independent, self-reliant, and
Mm,
to follow my heart and my own guidance and my intuition and trust myself in certain ways as well. And I think she was the one who supported me in my creative possibilities and endeavors. And after finishing design and all of that, I thought that I wanted to do lighting, and I think I followed that.
mm.
And that's how I moved countries. And I know it was hard for me and my father, given that there were just two of us in India. And then I decided to move halfway across from India to Australia. And he's like, why are you going so far? But I think to try something new, try something different, but also I think following that inner guidance of there's something that's calling me that I'm passionate about that I want to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and to give that all your effort and energy and at least give it a go.
Wow.
Do
Wow.
not settle for less,
Mm.
not give up.
Wow.
And though life is hard, though things are challenging, does not mean you go for it.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
So I
Thank
think
you.
that kind of, I knew I wanted to come to Australia and study, and I came. But then also 2012 is when I had that burnout, when I kind of life and everything kind of fell apart for me, and the body was not really doing well because I was pushing myself,
Yeah.
working hard.
Wow.
And I think something you asked about, and I did not consciously know that, but seeing my parents work hard to kind of make the life they did and to give me everything they could, the inner language that my brain picked up was that I had to work hard
Yeah.
to prove myself,
Yeah.
to get somewhere, to achieve something in my life, to make something of myself.
Mm. Mm.
And I think that working hard message kind of runs in the background of my story. And
Yes.
I'm still working to unpack that and
Mm.
to remind myself of what is the definition of working hard and where do I have to stop and how much is enough
Yeah.
and what does working hard look like for my health, for my body,
Mm.
for the balance I want in relationships and home and work, and what does lifestyle look like if I'm
Mm.
working hard and working hard, but then also remembering to play hard, but also success doesn't always have to come from just pushing your body and yourself and working hard,
Yeah.
but also the balance and beauty of everything that comes around it.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really beautiful. So
Thank you.
I know you've done a lot of personal development work. Um, are there some standout people that you've met in your personal development journey that kind of allowed you to have big shifts? And what sort of shifts were instrumental in getting to where you are today?
Yeah. I think there were a couple of people in my journey, and I think everyone in our journey is crucial, and that's like 1 inch closer, sometimes 5 meters, sometimes a canyon across. And everyone moves you further, opens your mind and possibilities that you did not think were possible for you, or completely turns you around. It's like, oh shit, I need to go that way, or find something else. And I think my segue started, I had found coaching, let's just say, or arranged to replace in 2016. And I felt like sitting in the room. I could clearly remember this 9th September 2016. I was sitting in that room listening to Joe Pane from the International, the Coaching Institute, the conversation he had. I knew deep inside that my life was not working and change was coming. And I always wanted to help people. But then I think that was the step to helping myself first. So then I could help other people. And I think other people came down the line, but it was me finding the answers that I was looking for that I did not find in therapy, in
Yeah.
counseling, in
Yeah.
clinical psychology, that hadn't answered the questions I asked about myself, of my journey, of
Mm.
who I am as a woman, as a professional, as a child, and what was possible for me. Um, and I think that started the possibility of, oh, there's coaching, there's something interesting.
Mm.
And I think it was only in 2018 when I met Sonia Furlong from Center for Life Therapies, where she and I were at a networking event and we had a conversation and she mentioned she was doing coaching and I just felt like heart space and
Mm.
just beautiful energy. And I just wanted to have a conversation with her. And then realized that I hadn't really dealt with the grief of losing my mother from 10 years ago. And I think that's how we started unpacking the
Wow.
grief, the pain, the emotion that I hadn't really fully
Mm. Mm.
externalized and emotionally felt, and
Yeah.
all the things
Yeah.
from childhood. And I think that started the deeper work for my personal development, understanding myself, finding my answers of
Yeah.
who I am truly in my
Wow.
own authentic version. If I
Wow.
peel back all the layers of programming, of patterns, of
Mm.
society and expectations and parents and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And worked with Sonia. I was her client for a while, and then I wanted to learn from her as well because I loved her techniques and tools. And she also worked with matrix therapies, and that's the first time I found matrix therapies working with her. And I had started my coaching studies, but I hadn't found something that resonated so deeply that I felt and I could feel and know and have the changes in my life from that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I want to learn that too. And that's how I did NLP, neuro linguistic programming, practitioner training, and matrix practitioner training with her. And then I also heard that she had studied with Lauren Jobson, and Lauren had trained her. And then Lauren had worked with Pip Mackay from Evolve Now, and Pip had created matrix therapies from timeline therapy and Tad James.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this whole tunnel of possibilities started to kind of unravel from there. And then I think I went along my training and studies, and I also, I think, started 2019, started working with Pip and her different levels of archetypal coaching
Yep.
and matrix therapies to unpack the ancestral emotions and the baggage one carries through one,
Yeah.
and to unpack that from time as well. So I feel like Sonia Furlong, 2018.
Yeah.
And I met Lauren with my master's practitioner training, and she was absolutely gorgeous. And then Pip Mackay in 2020.
Mm.
Through Pip, I also met Andrew Lowe.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and through all of that, in the background, I'd also been fascinated with astrology and tarot and oracle cards and all of that. And I think astrology, because my mom had talked about astrology when I was in India, there was a little bit around that. So I was studying astrology from 2015 in the
Mm.
background, trying to understand myself,
Mm. Mm.
to actually know what was in my blueprint when I was born, and that's called the natal chart. To
Okay.
what were the challenges, and can I see them in my life right now, and what were the lessons? Um, and what are the good things, and how? But also, I think something deeper was, why am I here?
Mm.
What is my purpose, and how can I truly step into my mission and my purpose, and to actually learn from the lessons I'm here to learn, to actually create a version of my life that I can in this lifetime.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you talk about the the ancestral patterns and the blueprints. What do those mean to you now?
Um, I think we all have ancestral, we have had ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents,
Mm,
and all of them through different experiences of life. Some of them were in the wartime, some of them immigrated. Um, Life and conditions and the thinking they had at that point drove their life, their challenges, their successes, and the lifestyle they created.
yeah,
And somewhere that got passed on from one generation to the other of how their children were brought up, the environment and the thinking and the language and the words were used of what was good, what was bad. Um, how sometimes people were in survival mode and they were just living in basic means.
yeah,
Some people were in abundance mode and they had more. And you can see if I was a child or somebody else, everything we believe potentially came from how we grew up in younger years of what beliefs were implanted
yeah,
unconsciously,
mm,
of what I believed about hard work, what I believed about managing my good health, what I believe about success and fortune or abundance and money and my relationship with money.
yeah, yeah,
I
mm,
was not in isolation. I grew up with the identity and culture in India, what my parents would believe at that point and what they thought were okay with money, what people around me, what is good and bad with money, how much you can spend, how much you save, what you do with it.
yeah,
Now in Australia, it's a different realm of all conversation as well.
mm,
And all of that. But also, I think we do have choice. And I think that's what I can see now from the work I have done and the clearing, the support, the healing, and the coaching through I've come through. I can see that we all have these patterns that we are brought up through, but then we can bring awareness to them and choose what works and gives us the success or the results we would like.
mm,
But through NLP and Matrix and other tools, we also have the possibility to change that thinking
wow, okay,
and to rewire it, resource ourselves if we had fear and challenges that we did not think something was possible for us,
yeah, yeah,
and to recreate a new alchemical possibility. And then we create our own version of what is possible for us in
wow,
success, in health, in relationships, in career,
yeah,
and a belief in what is possible for me individually.
wow, wow,
The power lies in us
mm,
and our mind.
that's incredible. That's incredible. So, if there's a woman watching this now, and she feels stuck, and she maybe feels like she's living somebody else's life, well, what would you say to her?
I know it's hard, and sometimes you feel like you're lonely, and you feel like this is going to go on forever. But you have a choice, and there is support. Remember, it's not just me, but there are so many possibilities of support, mentorship, help is out there. You just have to say yes to you, to choose to create a different tomorrow. And
No,
that starts with you saying yes. And you can change it. And it doesn't have to be hard. And you're not alone.
thank you.
Thank you.
That is an absolutely beautiful message. So,
Thank you so much, Louis.
hmm. And what we'll do is we'll put the links and comments down below, and anybody can reach out. I highly recommend they reach out and just have a chat, even just have a chat with you,
Okay.
and work out what the next steps forward would be. So I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you so
appreciate you.
much, Louis. That was beautiful.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, how was that?
That was, wow. Oh my God. That was epic. That was epic.
Yeah.
I know why I'm here. Absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, and mind blowing.
Oh, thank you. I
Thank
appreciate that.
you.
It's your beautiful message. It's your beautiful messages. That's what, that's what it is. So,
But it takes the right questions for them to come up.
no, it was lovely. It was lovely. So, yeah.
Thank you.
In the interview, we basically followed the hero's journey. So I don't know if
You did that so well.
I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you noticed that.
I'm not
Because it
sure
was,
I was noticing at that point. My brain was
no,
everywhere.
because it was like, what was your life before, and then what happened, and then all the stages. So
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous.
it was very cool. So what we'll do is we'll grab all the recordings. We'll put into some things for you to put out on your socials.
That'll be great.
Um, yeah, be fantastic. Be fantastic. So is it okay if I just ask you a couple of questions? Just, um, you know, how did you, how did you enjoy it? Just kind of that sort of thing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
love to.
All right. So, Farah, thank you so much. You've just done the unpack of the, fears, frustrations, dreams, and desires, and the interview. And would you mind telling us, like, how did you enjoy it? What did you get out of it?
Oh my God, that was absolutely fantastic. I'm glad I said yes. It was so much more than I had expected or known it would be. Um, I love, I absolutely loved what we did with the Go High level and you asking the right questions and talking me through the different aspects of the ideal client. I feel like that was just so juicy and I hadn't been able to get to those points on my own or with other support that we got to such core golden nuggets. And then from that, that came out for different social media hooks, different things. That's absolutely golden. And that was beautiful. And it was to see that come up in front of me, it just felt so beautiful. And I think I said, of just, oh, wow, this is beautiful. I can use this, and this is so easy. And we've gotten the information that I can work with rather than like, oh God, it's too hard. What am I going to do? Where do I start? And I feel like from that conversation we had together, it's given me really good next steps and things that I can go and create and build towards and find the right clients, which is really valuable.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. And I just want to say thank you for this beautiful interview too. Your questions, the way you guided, and what we got from it was just absolutely heartwarming. And I'm very proud of us together.
We did awesome. We did awesome.
We did awesome. It was absolutely amazing. It was just beautiful of how much that came out of that.
Aw.
Really grateful.
And
Really,
I
really
know it was
grateful.
emotional for you, and I super appreciate you, like, opening up and just sharing, like, really where you are. And you know anything I can do to help you on your journey, definitely. you know
Thank you.
I'd love to help
I
you
will.
along.
I will.
So,
I think there are a couple of baby steps for me, but I will be back. Maybe more of this, maybe a little bit of VA support. I've got to go figure that out, but I will be back.
yeah, perfect, perfect.